Hey everybody, Steve Billman here. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to continue Advanced Rhythm Study series. And today we're going to have an interesting topic and we're going to get into metric modulation. Um, I learned this concept and this particular exercise when I was studying with a percussionist. We were studying Indian rhythms and sort of complex rhythmic ideas. And he turned me on to this exercise, and I just kind of fell in love with it. And so much so that when Jeff Miley and I were writing songs for the Odd Dogs album Beneath the Surface, we used this in a tune called Enigma. And it's in the beginning of the song, and it's a really cool concept, which I'll get into. Um, but hopefully, this will be more than an exercise. Obviously, I'm going to present it as an exercise, which you'll be able to practice and you'll be able to, sort of get better at. And it will help you in your rhythmic concept. It'll help you in your inner clock. It'll help you, just rhythmically in a lot of ways. It's going to help you. But I hope also that you're able to go past just sort of the exercise mode of it and you're able to use it creatively some way, either in a composition or perhaps in a solo situation, maybe creating a solo using it, because it's a really interesting concept. So I'm going to do this in three segments. We're going to talk about the concept. I'm going to tell you what the concept is, um, sort of the idea that I'm talking about. And then I'm going to break down each one of the rhythmic concepts, and then we're going to play those individually. And, mechanically, I'll kind of talk about it a little bit so you understand what the rhythms are. And then the last part is we're actually going to do it as one exercise. So I'm going to um, play it incomplete or play it completely, and then you'll be able to play along with me. And then hopefully, eventually, what that means is that you'll be able to do this on your own, because that's the ultimate goal, is for you to be able to feel this intrinsically in your own, inner clock. We're not using a metronome because the sort of the click is going to change as we go along, and it's the metronome's going to interfere. Okay, so before I get to the sort of the first part of it, let me just explain. When I was taking these lessons, the teacher was telling me about a building and comparing the building sort of to rhythms and how he sees rhythm. And I'll be more specific. I'll say a house. So if you look at a house, it has basically five views from the house. You have the front view, you have two side views, you have a back view, and if you have a helicopter, you have an overhead view of your house. So when you're looking at the different sides of the house, you're getting a different perspective of the house. So for instance, you know, maybe the front of the house, you have, a lot of flowers or roses, you have a nice grassy yard, and you have big picturesque windows, and you have a front door. And the sides of the house, maybe on the one side are where the trash cans are, or maybe there's a dog run over there. On the other side, maybe there's a small jacuzzi, or maybe even like a teeter totter or something like that. Um, and then on the back of the house, you would look at from the back side of the house. Maybe there's a pool, or perhaps there's a patio with a bunch of lounge chairs. So, and then if you look above, obviously you're seeing the roof, and you're kind of seeing an overview of the whole area. So depending on which side you're looking on, you're going to get a different view, but it's still a home. It's still that one house, but you're going to get a different view of that one house. He compares that to the rhythm. We're going to have one rhythm that we're going to be saying, but within that one rhythm, we're going to look at different quarter notes that relate to that one rhythm. So, quarter notes based off of a quarter note eighth note rhythm, quarter notes based off of a triplet rhythm, quarter notes based off of a 16th note rhythm. So we're going to see the same rhythm, or we're going to hear the same rhythm. It's going to sound the same, but when we juxtapose it against these different quarter notes that we're going to play, it's going to give us a different view of that particular rhythm, just like we would if we're looking at a house from different sides of it. So it might be a little, like, what am I talking about? And I understand that, but I just want to give you sort of an overview of it. When we start to break it down, I think it'll make more sense. So why don't we go and why don't we talk about this rhythmic concept? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. The rhythm is going to be based off of an African rhythm that's very common. A lot of times drummers will play it on their ride cymbal if you're doing an African groove. It's a very common, like I said, very common rhythm. And that rhythm is going to be in 12/8, and it sounds like this. Da 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 da. So that rhythm is going to be constant. That's not going to change. But what we're going to do, so that rhythm I'm going to say with my mouth. And I might have said da there, but I'm going to say ba. So ba, 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 right? So that's going to come from my mouth. And then from my clapping, I'm going to clap, or actually I might tap. But at any rate, with my hand, I'm going to tap the quarter notes. And those quarter notes are going to change as we change the note values of that rhythm. But it's still going to be the same rhythm, okay? So let's start with the first one. So we're going to play over that rhythm, we're going to play 6/4. So it's going to sound like this. Ba 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 ba. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ba 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 ba. Okay, so that gives us 6/4 sort of over the 12/8. Now that doesn't produce anything really radical, and actually, that's a very common kind of pulse to go underneath the 12/8. But so that rhythm then, the main rhythm at that speed of the quarter note is going to be based off of quarter. The rhythm will be made up of quarter notes and eighth notes. Okay, so ba 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 ba. Those are quarter notes and eighth notes above the quarter note that I'm clapping. So what we're going to do then is we are going to then take that rhythm of quarter notes and eighth notes and we're going to change it into triplets. So the main rhythm will sound the same, but again, with the quarter note, it's going to completely change how that rhythm sounds because the quarter note is going to be in a different place, even though it's going to be the same rhythm. Okay. So with that, if I go to the rhythm, da 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 da. The quarter note is in a completely different place because now I'm using triplet phrasing as opposed to quarter note, eighth note phrasing. That's metric modulation. We're changing the note value. Okay, but again, it's the same rhythm, the main rhythm. Then what we're going to do is we're going to change from eighth note triplets, we're going to change to 16th notes, and we're going to be in 3/4. So now that same rhythm is going to be subdivided in 16th notes. So that's going to sound like da 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 da. Again, it's the exact same rhythm, but against these specific quarter notes, you get a completely different feel. So that's what he was saying about the building. Depending on which side of the quarter note you're looking on, you're going to get it's the same rhythm, but you're going to get a completely different view of that rhythm just by changing these quarter notes. Okay. All right. So, so that's basically the concept of what we're going to do. So let's take the first rhythm. We can practice it together. We'll just play it a couple times through. So here's the 6/4. 1, 2, ready, and da 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 da. da, 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 da. Okay, so that's the 6/4. Here's the 4/4. Da 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 da. Okay, now here's the 3/4. Da 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 da. Okay, so those are the three rhythms that we're going to be dealing with. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put them all together in one exercise, and I'll explain what I'm going to do in the next segment. So let's go to the next segment. Okay, so for the last segment now we're going to do this exercise together. Now here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to start with just the rhythm. Ba, 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 or da, 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 da. I'll do da. I'll do that. I'll do all of them probably 4 times. I'll do that 4 times, and then I'll come in with the 6/4, da, 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 da. And then from there, I'll go directly into the 4/4, the 3/4, and then I'll go from the 3/4, I'll go back to the 4/4, 6/4, and then I'll end. Okay? So here we go. Let's try it. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Okay, you guys, so there you go. There's the example, there's the exercise. So what I want you to do again is I want you to practice with the video first and get comfortable with the transitions going from the 6/4 to the 4/4 to the 3/4. Practice it with me. Once you feel comfortable, then perhaps go by yourself and practice each one of those patterns separately. So work on the 6/4, get that together. Go to the 4/4, do the same thing, and with the 3/4. The 4/4 is the most difficult one, so that might take the most time. But do them individually, and then try to incorporate it into the full exercise so that you're able to go from top to bottom and then bottom to top again. And again, you don't want to use metronome only because the quarter note's going to be changing and it's going to be a little bit weird to have that rhythm constant. So it's better just to practice it by yourself. And again, I want to encourage you to find a musical way to use this idea. Find a way to use it in a composition, maybe not the whole composition, but just maybe a section. Or if you're an instrumentalist, again, try to find a way to incorporate it into your playing. Maybe it's it's a solo piece, or maybe it's just a solo groove that you can come up with using this. But find some way to be creative with this example that I'm giving you guys. Okay? All right. I know it's challenging. I know it's hard, but take your time with it. Just have fun with it. It's going to, you'll eventually get it inside of you and you'll feel it. But again, it's going to take a little bit of practice. All right. So thanks again so much, you guys, for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.